Guys, welcome to Bitcoin Localized, a podcast where we discuss recent events in Bitcoin and crypto space. So, this is a special fun event. So, the end of year recap. So, we'll discuss the highlights in 2024, the lessons learned, the jackpot wants, the wrecked portfolio regrets. So, along with me is my co host, Andy, CEO of Loca Mining, and two super special guest star, Jonathan Hartono, or Jono, head of strategy and business from Pintu Exchange, the top three crypto exchange in Indonesia, which is also an avid meme coin hunter. And we also have Lawrence Samantha, CEO of Nobi Labs, a crypto asset management firm. And I got a feeling that Lawrence will be having a new significant role next year. So, welcome, guys. Good to have you guys here. So, how's your crypto journey doing so far in 2024? Do you mind giving us some spills?
All right,
So,
yes. Okay, let's. Is it Jonathan or me first?
well, I don't know. So, who has the biggest wins? I guess, or maybe the
Who are
biggest wreck.
the biggest wreck? Okay, I think I can do the biggest wreck. Oh, maybe the biggest regrets, right? So I think
Uh,
2024 is a year where you know, we all wins, but at the same time we all have our own regrets, right? Uh, with with things like how can we miss XRP, for example, or maybe we don't miss XRP, or and from those hundreds of memes that we enter this year, all those fun things, right? So, and all those round trips, I guess. Um, I mean, I think 2024 is a year of regret for me. Like, there's just so many opportunity, and we know it coming. And there are things that there are just way too many things that we think that you know that we know better, and we at our positions, I guess, and the exposure that we have to all this so-called alpha, right? And I think for me personally, it's just that we will. I mean, we win a lot, right? And now it's everything is pretty close to all-time high, but uh, it's just there are still too many regrets that I feel. But I don't know, Jonathan. How about you? Maybe you're different from me. Maybe you don't round trip.
Hey, but hold on,
I
hold on,
think we all
Lawrence.
do. Yeah,
You,
yeah.
you need to name specific coins. Like
Mm.
you don't name specific coins. Please name the specific coins or projects that you got jackpot or wrecked or like anything.
Well, of course, like for example, Hyperliquid, for example, right? So, uh, I know Hyperliquid for a while. I opened my wallets and it seems like I've been doing things at Hyperliquid for 1.5 years. But I don't do trades. I'm not a trader. I'm more a yield person. So I'm mostly doing yield farming at Hyperliquid and Enter Faults, right? So I got points from that, right? But at the same time, it's not as significant as those who actually trades and enter into long or short positions and at Hyperliquid. And the other thing is, right? I guess in airdrops, you have to be vigilant, right? So you have to check your wallets all the time, look at all the news. And for me, I miss the periods, right? So for Hyperliquid, they do all this, uh, you know, uh, steps where you have to sign some warrants, sign some agreements, and those things you have to be fast, right? So and I missed a couple of those. So and some of my wallets, like I know that I'm supposed to get some airdrops from it, but I miss it, right? So but I guess those are the life of people who are looking for airdrops, right? So it's not as easy as it seems, and they keep raising the bar, right? So and if you really want it, then you have to be vigilant. You have to put some times and really look into it, right? And of course, Hyperliquid is a great project, and there are things that I like from it. There are things that I don't like from it, but it seems like those are the things that I think many people are getting jackpot, but at the same time, many people are having regrets from not making jackpot or from not making too much from hyperliquid. So I think that's one of the project that I think I really regret of not having a bigger position on.
Sure, sure. Nice, nice, nice. Thanks. What about you,
Yeah.
Joe?
Oh, wow! This year has been quite a roller coaster because I'm into meme coins and I've been in meme coins since I'd say December, so exactly a year. So one full year of actually being heavy in meme coins is quite a roller coaster. I think. Yeah, I never would have thought because I remember last cycle, I would not touch like the Doges and the Shibas at all. I was so idealistic and I was like, oh, let's look at the fundamentals, or this coins, the shit coins is gonna go to zero, so I won't touch it. So I was pretty idealistic about it, but reality was that it was the biggest gainers, right? Doge and Shiba. Um, so this cycle, I guess I'm more a bit less idealistic because I saw it right away. In that the narrative was shifting to Solana and specifically meme coins. So yeah, this year has been really, really, I guess, good in a lot of ways. Also some bads, but I think my first break of the cycle was getting Jito airdrops, um,
Oh,
Jito Sol. That was my first break. So shout out Jito for funding my DGen wallet. I think the story was that I think I was barely making into like the time period of the stakers that got into airdrop. I think I only staked it for less than a week, maybe 4 days or something. And they announced the airdrop, and like it was December. I remember that. So I staked only, I think it was one soul at the time. So one soul at the time was probably like $90 to $100 or something like that. So a really small amount. I was just trying it out. I wasn't really, I'm not quite a DeFi person and I don't really like liquid staking and stuff like that. But I was just trying it because somebody mentioned about it. So I was like, I was getting into this airdrop farming stage of the cycle. So I tried it, but yeah, I think it was like a week of staking $100, and I got close. I think it was $12,000 when it was high or something like that. Yeah, so it was 4 days of staking $100 got me $10,000. I think that was probably the best airdrop outside of Hyperliquid. Maybe, I don't know. For some people, anyway. Yeah. For the amount, it was the lowest tier, and people got $10,000 from it. So yeah, that was probably my first break, and then from there, I just rotated it into a bunch of like Solana ecosystem stuff. Went pretty well, but not, I caught whiff. I think maybe around 2 million market cap or something, pretty low.
Damn,
So
bro.
that's probably more of a regret than a win. But I caught whiff like a $2 million, didn't hold. I knew it was going to be something. I knew I was supposed to hold, but looking at the charts every day got you like, oh, this is the local top because there's, I think it pumped like 3 times already, and Iliad wave and stuff like that. You're just in this mode, and so I sold the top actually. I was planning to get in again, but I got busy with wedding stuff. So I never got in again. So yeah, I missed the train, and it was just like rocketing like out of nowhere. So yeah, so that's my first break. I think the second one was, um, and my biggest win this cycle is catching the Bome. I don't know how you speak it. The Book of Memes, pre-sale. So I got that pre-sale. Pre-sale. I put in one soul also. I think it turned into 1 Bitcoin at the time. So 700x, something like that. I didn't exit the top, but it got there. It got there. I didn't exit the top, but I got a pretty. That was like one of a kind of thing. But yeah, so that's my biggest win. It's been a really fun journey. I think this cycle. Um, and then I guess losses. There's so many losses. I mean, if there's no losses, I would be up so much. But uh, I don't think I can name it. But I think I just round tripped so much gains. Even like for turning 2,000 to 12,000 and then going back to $900 or something like that. Yeah. So like all up and down, up and down, up and down. Yeah, stuff like that all the time. But what's refreshing for me currently is that I think I'm very into this AI agents narrative. It's so fast, like I can barely keep up, and it's reminiscent to like what DeFi was doing, and looking for alpha is actually hard, and that there's so many good projects like legit VC backed project pivoting into AI narratives, and there's so many builders hacking into like this AI stuff. I think it's a green field. It's everybody can eat. Everybody can probably like if they dive into it, they can find gems. I think 100x, 20x. The next ones are probably going to be there. Uh, so I'm really into that. I caught some good ones. I think I caught. I mean, I caught gold. I caught yeah, a bunch of stuff. Like I think from the beginning. So really hoping that the investment in my time investment into this AI stuff is paying off.
So yeah, you should tell me your wallet address, then I'll copy yours. Then I'll just need to find a way to get a good exit then. So
There
you
you
mentioned it an exit at the top,
go.
and so half work's done. So I just need to find a way to get a good exit at your entry point.
I will comment about
No.
the copy trading stuff actually. Like I've been researching this kind of bot that actually copy trade, and there's been like delay. So there are actually some people that is farming their copy traders, because if you're following some wallet, and then this wallet buys, and then you buy after them, like a few seconds after, and gets like from 6 to around 30 seconds. I kind of deep dive into the on-chain when the like a Trojan bot or Bong bot, there's some delay. So there's actually some people that actually make their wallets to be kind of like copy tradable, and then when people are copy trading them, and then they just sell, just farming. Because when you buy on a low market cap, and then it got higher and higher, and then you just sell, you basically your copy traders are becoming your liquidity.
So you're
This
saying I
is
should
very
give my
interesting.
wallet to Sylvester so I can farm him?
Now I'm beginning to have doubts. So it's like a mind game, right? I know what you know, but what I know. So
Yeah,
it's on a third level.
yeah. It's like
Yeah,
we're
yeah, yeah.
playing in this on-chain game. We're playing 3D, 4D, 5D chess.
Well, I guess what Jonathan was saying would be a perfect segue to the one of the main themes of 2024, which is memes, right? So I want to read you guys. I want to quote a tweet from Murat, and so this is really interesting. So Murat says this in one of his recent tweets. Okay, so I'm telling you straight up, figure out what the top 3 to 5 most hardcore cults are, bet big, contribute, and just hold for 1 year. It's it really is that simple. Well, Joe, is that really that simple? Because my experience says it doesn't work for me somehow.
Okay. Um. Well, question would be: have you actually hold a year for like the culty meme coins?
So one example. So I got this airdrop called When, right? The cute cat.
Oh.
So I got this airdrop, and I was like really confident about it, all the communities and everything, fair distribution, everything. It went to the top. I keep LPing, and I keep getting more. I keep taking risk. It went up. So at one point, my portfolio, what my WEN bag was like more maybe 30, 40K, and somehow US dollar. But then it goes down. But I try to convince myself, have the conviction. And when things go down, I just don't see it again. I just don't want to see it. That's what's my case is with most of my meme coins. I just don't know when to exit. When it's top high, I just think maybe it will go up, have conviction, remember of Murat, think of a jet, of yacht and everything, a big mansion. And then when things go down, I don't want to see it again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's that easy. If his thesis plays out, I think it's going to be that easy, and that's in the sense that if you hold like the top cults with like the strongest holders who's been, I don't know, who's been up and down and going through like all this like lows and stuff, and still held. So a lot of diamond holders. I think he has a lot of metrics that uh, he keeps around this stuff, right? On-chain metrics. Personally, I'm not into it too much. Like my conviction in meme coins is not. Well, it's kind of like that, but I'm starting to shift into like AI agent stuff. So, but I do think that it could. There is a case where it plays out in the sense that if meme coins is going to be like pure meme coins, like the dogs and the cats, if that narrative will still be a hot narrative coming into 2025 when the liquidity pours in and the bull run comes, and still going to be top performer. I think easily, like the cult stuff, like the Gigas and the SPX and the WIF, and the Popcats, and the Mudangs. So all that is probably going to shoot up. I mean, so it's just a matter of time until the narrative shifts or the liquidity shifts back in. And when it shifts back in, I think memes will tend to like be more volatile in its ups and downs, right? So it's probably going to catch like a huge wind. So we'll see though. I think it's definitely a case.
But do you guys think it will happen? So what's your gut? What does your gut tells you guys?
I think the narrative of VC coins are bad for retail and meme coins are strong will continue to like get this traction. I think so. So when the liquidity does shift, I think there is a case where meme coins outperform like the VC coins. That's my personal conviction. I think retail is gonna try to win against VCs.
Nice. Cool. What about you, Lawrence?
I don't. I think it's like a pendulum, right? It shifts at the direction of the retail now, right? And it will work until it doesn't work, right? Uh, and uh, I think it will coast to the other way sometimes next year. Uh, at some point, people got tired of meme, or maybe people got tired of, you know, round tripping, or because you see, we had the discussion earlier about this folk trying to play a game of 4D chess, right? People are basically trying to front running everyone and try to front run each other, right? And 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 eventually it will stop. Like I think eventually people will be like, yeah, this is like journey to zero. And if everyone are trying to front run each other, uh, and VCs are not dumb people, right? They will also try to play the same game too, right? And they will masquerade themselves as retail, and everyone, and in the end, it's all the same players who are playing the game. So in the end, everything is gonna be VCs money, but it's the gameplay is just different. It just keeps constantly changing. Like I talked to a couple of different Web3 VCs who are, they say that we don't deploy the way they used to deploy, right? They used to be like, joining a private round, and then they wait patiently, and then they think they got the best price, and now they like, we'll deploy once it's public. They don't even mind joining the fair launch, right? If they think the coin is good enough, right? And that tells me that it's basically the same game. It's just like they're playing different rules, right? So and the rules constantly change, right? So we know we have fair launch for a while, but 2024 is the year of fair launch, right? And Pump Fund contributes a lot on this, and everyone now understand fair launch because of Pump Fund, right? And that's a good thing. And meme was not for everyone, but in 2024, everyone wants to have a dip on meme. Like even the most, like everyone, all my friends who are basically like fundamentalist hardcore, people who are like fundamentalists to the max, right? This year, they all have like Phantom Wallet or or looking at Deck Screener, and they do all of those things, and they learn something from it. They learn that a coin is as good as its community, right? And one good thing that I really learned from meme is the community, right? And I think it's because I think in meme you kind of feel that you're on the same playing field, like everyone plays the same play on the same level, right? So of course there's the team, but like the team, they even the team sometimes do the community takeover, the CTO, right? So, and that makes me feel that hey, we're all the same. We buy at the same price, and I can be having the opportunity to buy at the same level, if not better than even the team, right? So I think that's the most important thing, making the community feels involved, right? 2025, something will happen. We don't know why. We don't know what actually. I think I've been talking to like different Solana community that trying different things. Like for example, like Sanctum, they have this thing called Creator Coin, and trying to tell everyone that hey, instead of having your own, every project having your own coin, or every influencer having their own coins, maybe you can do like this LSD coins, and this is actually safer because then you contribute, you can be part of the community without having to lose your money, and this is actually very conservative approach to this whole creator economy, right? And I think they're experimenting on that, right? Will that work? I don't know. Their TVL is growing slowly, but like I don't know if it's going to work in the long term. I think they themselves will evolve. Meme community, they will try different fair launch happening. I think Pump Fund, as good as they are, I think they keep experimenting. We understand that they launched the video thing, right? They try to be the what do you call it, the OF of crypto, right? With having
The OF?
the video.
They
Yeah.
shared
Yeah,
the
well,
button.
The live broadcast, live streaming feature,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the live streaming feature, right? So it's, and it works. It works so well that they have to close it down. So, right? And it works so well. So I think it will come back for sure. It will come back for sure. Like it's just a question of how, but how and when, right? And I think it's just gonna make everything different. Like when it launched again, I think there's gonna be a shift in how people perceive Pump Fund, how community works. It's just gonna be crazy, I think.
Hey, Lawrence, I want to follow up on
Yeah.
one simple thing. The
Yeah.
trend that you mentioned earlier, feces, more getting into in the fair launch phase, the TGE phase. So do you think it will stick, or do you think like somehow it will revert back to the original seed phrase, investment, and everything, or do you think there will be a norm?
I think there's going to be like a in between, right? It's going to be in between. Like it's not just going to be like a hard cut between the private round and the public round. I think it's going to be in between. Like maybe the way people do the TGE, as in the fair launch, they will have like different rules. Maybe well, for example, like, hey, if you're gonna enter big, we'll give you a discount, but you have to be do fasting. And we see different projects that actually do that, right? They do airdrops to the community, but they will get the most if they hold longer, right? And I think that's a that's a good approach, right? The believer they can hold longer and they can get more. And if you don't believe it, you just want to take profit on day one, you can do it. But maybe you can get like I don't know 50% cut, right, or something, right? So I think people will keep playing around with that mechanism, right? With that mechanics and see how the community accepts it. And of course, every community is different. Uh, some are more degen than the other. Some are more long term, right? Some are more fundamental. Some are more like YOLO, right? So, so I think it's going to be interesting on how they do that.
So like from my perception is that so the if the feces are doing that, it's not
Mm-hmm.
because they want to contribute better to the community or what. It's just like with the current setup, the one where they have to buy at the seat round and they get
Mm-hmm.
locked up for a long time, and
Mm-hmm.
somehow they have to exit higher than their buying price. I think
Mm-hmm.
now with the current sentiment, it's getting harder and harder for feces to get a win on that. I mean, what
Yeah.
happens is that like yeah, they get locked
Mm-hmm.
and they become the exit, and they have to try so hard after they unlock after they vested to somehow get back their investment and get a win on most projects.
Oh, right. And this is the change of perspective, right? So back in the days, people see VCs are the greatest backers, right? When you say that, hey, I don't know, like Binance Labs back this project, people will, 2020 era, they see that, oh yeah, oh Binance is backing this project. That means they are the biggest supporter of this project, right? And now we see that, hey, let's say the same VCs, they back this project, they will like, oh no, during the TGE, they will dump on us, right? And that's like the change of perspective, right? They see that VCs as the enemy instead of the backers, right? They see, oh, VC, they just put money and they will try to make the best out of it and they will kill the project because they don't care about the project, right? And I think in the end, it's a this this mindset is not 100% correct or not 100% wrong. I think VCs, they are there to make money, but at the same time, they care about the projects, right? They want, in order for them to make the most money, they have to help the projects. Now, how do they back the project? That's another question, right? Seems like now the best way is to do it together during the fair launch, or maybe not. Or, that's the question that everyone is trying to find the answer.
Yeah, yeah. So I think the main takeaway is don't kill the goose that lays the golden egg.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow, when the golden egg doesn't shows up, somehow find a way to have the golden egg shows, but don't ever kill the goose. I guess.
Yes,
I guess
yes, yeah,
yeah. Okay. So
yeah.
maybe we should move on to Bitcoin. Like
Ooh.
it's having the run
Mm-hmm.
from somehow from like the 50ish k when it go down, but it can bounce back up to 100k when Donald Trump wins.
Mm-hmm.
So Andy, maybe you can share some of your
Yeah,
convictions and what happens.
yeah. I think when we talk about memes, I always say something like this. It's a bit controversial, like last year, but I think it's getting more and more accepted that everything is meme, and Bitcoin is actually the hardest meme.
The
Because if you're
hardest
look
meme.
Yeah. I mean, meme is the definition of meme is something that is idea that is spreading fast, right? I mean, so so the difference with meme, I mean, difference among the meme is just the time frame. So everything is actually meme. Everything that you heard, something that you heard from outside your sphere is actually meme because when something, the idea you heard about an idea, that means that it already passed through some kind of like a lot of different things that is actually it's not killed because it goes through your ear because it flows from other part of the world, right? It means that this idea are actually spreading and then got into your ear. Bitcoin was the like from 2009. I think there's like a the idea of the easy e-cash uh, into like a crypto anarchist and then goes into Bitcoin like the it's a Bitcoin basically is a fuck you money, right? It's fuck you money for the government everywhere because like you have like a Lehman Brothers collapsing, and then basically people don't trust the Wall Street anymore. So they use Bitcoin. It's a fuck you money. This is an idea, and this idea gets stronger, stronger, and stronger. And what makes interesting about crypto is that you can put a you can put a metric on how how strong an idea is, and that metric is price. So the so there's like uh what we call meme is something an idea, and then you call it meme coin is that an idea where you can put a price on it. So so then it's about a time frame. So you when you say okay, Bitcoin is it's basically meme, but it's like it's a time frame. And uh, the idea of fair launch, I think also Bitcoin is has this the first probably the most successful idea of fair launch because it's actually like you do proof of work, like it's actually fair launch. It's still launching, right? It's not the supply is there is that's why we're Bitcoin we're mining Bitcoin. We're actually still it's kind of like the supply is there. It's just the fair launch is happening all over like decades. No, we're still on the stage of fair launch of Bitcoin. It's going over and over again until like 2120 yeah for the next century. So that's my point of view about Bitcoin.
Sure, sure, sure. Well, nice. So, how about you guys? I mean, what about holding Andy? So, what do you see in 2025? Does so Donald Trump hasn't got into office yet, and now we're sitting at around 100K ish, right? Will it
Yeah.
boost up again when he comes into office, or is it already it now? I mean, do we grind slowly from here? Adoption every time Larry Fink talks about Bitcoin, or is there another boost leg up? So, what do you think of 2025 for Bitcoin?
I think I mean if we see the price pattern, it goes three like you go 3 years going up and then 1 year you go down and then some goes up again 3 years and then you go down again. So I think 2025 is still going up again. I don't know about the price, probably like 200K or maybe more, maybe less, but it's definitely more than 100. It's not like the top from my perspective and my conviction. And yeah, I mean, there's gonna be not gonna be like this meme, all the other memes that shoots up and then goes down. This is like maybe like there's a accumulation phase. Probably after this, gonna up like January will go around 100 and then just go back down a bit and then it's just around 100 and then goes on the months after. I don't know, but I don't know about the price, but I'm pretty sure this is not the top. But Solana getting down. It was top like 270 something, and then now it's like sub 200.
Yeah, I think that's a very important, like
Mhm.
interesting topic. So we're discussing about the climb of the prices, right?
Mm.
The rallies.
Yeah.
But now, if like the past 1 month, we're seeing the prices went down, go down until now, until it's like maybe it's already dropped 40 to 50% from the top last top. So do you guys think this is
Mm.
some kind of retracement, or have we entered the bear phase for a lot of these altcoins?
No, I think it's as simple as this. I mean, we're if we're looking at the charts, we're looking at the macro. Uh, I think now is the era where we're all the liquidity goes to the biggest player. The risk is off again because of the macro. So people are the big funds, they move back to the less risk products. Maybe they even maybe they even get out from crypto completely for now. But they will come back. And I think right now it's just a matter of if the Bitcoin is still not done with the rally, then the money will not go into the alts. Because if we look at the alts in the bigger picture, it's not uh, the bull season has not come to alts yet, I think, right? So you talk about Solana, Solana, it reached 270, right? But from 200 to 270, that's a 30% up, and that's not really a bull indicator, right? So you cannot say that Solana has entered the bull market, and then you will see coins like like I call these dinosaur coins, right? So coins like XRP or LTC, right? To or Cardano, right? So ADA, uh, and they have their own mini pool season, right? So they got up like 200%, 300% easily in a couple of days, right? In recent times, um, but I don't think that's an indicator of alt season as a whole, right? I think it will come a bit later. Right now, it's still Bitcoin time, and if you see the liquidity, it's all still in Bitcoin. Ethereum is still waiting patiently, and fundamentally, it's still I'm a big Solana person, but I think Ethereum is still the biggest one, right? So they still have the biggest liquidity, the biggest TVL in terms of like projects, integrations, even with the traditional finance. Ethereum is still leading by far, right? So I think. Uh, this narrative of Ethereum is not gonna survive this market. They won't have any bull season. It's just a joke. I don't think we can dismiss them. But in 2025, it can very well be uh, the year of Ethereum. And of course, Solana is next. And they have a couple of big projects and announcement in the pipeline, and like even like Solana ETF is coming too, right? So let's see. When we finish onboarding these big players, then it's probably the out season, right? So let's see.
Yeah, because
Mm,
from my take on the market
mm,
is, as we move forward, somehow Bitcoin keeps on detaching further from crypto, from the altcoins, where Bitcoin price stays there and the altcoins couldn't hold or couldn't maintain their upward movement. So the altcoins go down. So this is kind of rare, what's happening, because previously somehow Bitcoin leads altcoin in a way before the ETFs era. So all the crypto community usually have one sentiment: when everything's good, then when everything's good, then everything's good. But now somehow the Bitcoin camps are still doing good, still happy, but the altcoin camps somehow like getting mixed signals, somehow like getting worried a bit. Will they bounce back or not? So it's a new era, I guess. What about you, Joe? What do you think? The recent price downtrend.
I think it's a healthy correction, right? It's just I think people are just panicking or I guess regretting not taking profits at the top or something. But this is just a healthy correction. I mean, can we still go down chart wise? We can, but I'm not too afraid, right? I think, I mean, all Lawrence has been through 4 cycles. I've been through 3. We know that retraces are just there. It is a super volatile project or space. We're super volatile. We're super sensitive to news. We're probably the chart wise, we reflect real time news the fastest because how open the market is. It's 24/7. It's super liquid, um, and it's very risky. It's a risk on asset. So we reflect news so very fast. And so in that sense, I mean, it's just another healthy correction. It's been rallying up like crazy. So we need time to just figure out what the market thinks, digest all the news, digest all the macro sentiments that's been out in the news, and it's just a healthy correction. I think from my side, what I see in the charts, we're probably gonna build the support and then test some resistance, and yeah, we'll go from there. But by no means, I think there is not a case where the bull run has stopped. I just don't see that with even with the hawkish nature of the Fed. Um, I just don't see liquidity not pouring back in next year with like Trump getting into office and still rate cuts. I mean, the hawkish nature of the Feds doesn't mean they're not going to cut rates, right? They're still promising around 3 rate cuts next year. So it'll take time. I think historically, from rate cuts until it's priced into the market, it'll probably take time. It's probably going to be faster in crypto, but still, everything. I think liquidity is going to pour back in. Um, yeah, I think it's from my take. It, I mean, if there's no like huge events like COVID or something like that, I think it should just play out in terms of the economy getting stronger everywhere, and yeah,
So
bull run's gonna bull.
so I get a sense that you're quite confident that the cycle isn't over. So
Oh
so,
yeah,
so tell
It's
me,
not
what's
started
what's
yet.
your top signal of this cycle then? Uh,
what's my top
can you share?
signal? Oh, there's no timing in the market. We can look at historical numbers. We're probably gonna miss it, right? It's either gonna be earlier or later. It's probably not gonna be right on the dot of all the historical numbers. So my top signal is well, there's no top signal for me. I try not to think of the market that way. I'm still in the camp of exiting the top and loading up for the bottom. So in terms of that, my strategy would be DCing out even like months before. So my take is, I'm the historical number that I got from my own research is that October is kind of like the sweet spot of where it would be like somewhere in October would be probably the top historically, right? It could be way later, it could be way earlier, right? So I don't want to time the top, so I'm probably gonna DC out from like starting June. I'm probably not gonna buy, definitely not gonna buy come June, and probably DCA out from June. So I'll probably start taking profits into like the wins that I get by that time, and just DCA out all the way until I don't know, end of year, something like that. It really depends on the charts at that point, but yeah, my gist is that I still encourage, well, not encourage. I still think people can enter. I think dips are for buying at this point. The yeah, historically it's just like that. I think dips are for buying at this point. I think the bull market's probably going to heat up. I'm still confident at that on that sense. So yeah, I don't think Bitcoin's gonna stop at 100K. Dude. It's just if
Bitcoins,
it's
no, yeah, but the
the
altcoins is my concern
oh
with all the recent drops.
there risk to reward uh, wise, I still think alts are better than Bitcoin at this point. I mean, I don't know what my target like. The common target I'm hearing around me is 150 to 200K. So 2x at best. Ethereum not breaking all time highs, and if it breaks all time high, who knows how far it'll go. But I think there's still legs into this. I think investors, I guess the large wallets, the whales, has not been too risk on um, in terms of like allocating their portfolio into altcoins. But when this thing heats up, I think people will start um, realizing there's opportunity in alts, and they're probably going to run their liquidity into alts instead of Bitcoin. So that's just my personal thesis. I mean, looking at charts, there's a lot of sexy altcoin charts out there. Yeah.
Sure, sure. Well, I like the word. Uh, okay, so what's your key takeaway for 2025, guys?
Key takeaway. Okay, I'll start, I guess, since I've been talking anyway. Key takeaways is that you never know. I guess the one takeaway is that you never know what the retail wants. I think people are learning it. Um, I guess in a good way or on the hard way is that market has a mind of its own, and it shapes its narratives by its own. So it's really important to be able to read that in terms of in order to capture the biggest opportunities. So that's kind of the one that I've been really focused on in terms of being in my research and in building conviction in what I want to invest in. Is that I tend to want to be able to read what the narrative is trying to flow into. So that's one for me. I think it's been a huge lesson, a risky lesson, but I think there's something there. Another takeaway is that the 4-year cycle still stands. I'm glad that Bitcoin is still holding in terms of our core thesis, right, as a crypto community, and that Bitcoin is the sound money, and Bitcoin has this 4-year cycle, and I think it's being proven out, and that's another takeaway. I think a lot of people are pretty skeptic about it, and it shows. It shows when it's time for a risk on asset, capital is flowing into this sector. So it shows that there's appetite there. I think with ETFs being available, we see that there's appetite from the institutions for Bitcoin. I think this will be a long-term asset. This will be a generational asset class. So I think that's another takeaway for me this year.
Nice, thanks, bro. What about you, Lawrence?
Well, when we talk about 2025 as I think Jonathan mentioned about the cycle, right? The full year cycle thing, and Bitcoin is breaking out to be this generation asset class, right? It's gonna replace gold whatsoever, right? So I think that remains true. So 2025 is the year where of Bitcoin, and we will see like whether or not Ethereum and Solana, whether or not they can uh, follow the Bitcoin's path, getting accepted in the whole world and becoming really mainstream. But I think the most important thing is, I guess, the market psychology, right? And if we think about it long term, there's this saying by Warren Buffett, right? Be greedy when others are fearful, uh, right? So I think that's something that we have to understand, right? Timing the market is super hard, but I think the easiest way is, if you see everyone starts talking about Bitcoin, if you see your aunties or nephew or even your grandma starts asking about Bitcoin,
That's a top signal.
that's the top signal, right? Uh, I think, whether that's really like, uh, you know you cannot really time the market properly, but when that happens, just remember that that's probably when the market is going to be overheat, and it will retrace, no matter what asset, it will retrace, it will come back down. The big money, the smart money, they will take profit and starts to wait until it's a better time, right? So 2025, that I think that's the theme, and everyone will be genius, right? So I will be a genius, Jonathan will be a genius, Andy will be a genius, everyone's gonna be a genius, yeah, right? So they can say anything, we can say anything, and it will be true, because everything's gonna be pumped up, right? So and Pump Fund is gonna be doing its own thing, right? We will have King of the Hill, and new memes
It's gonna be
gonna,
what?
yeah,
This
and
kind. Okay.
yeah, and new
Okay.
narrative. Uh, we shall see, right? So, but yeah, just I think the main takeaways is, you know, secure your profit, right? And especially if you're someone uh, uh, who really needs that money for something, just remember your goal, I guess, right? Um, and there are different things in crypto world where you can still be in crypto and you can still be conservative. We are at the phase where you can do many different things. DeFi.
That's
Yeah,
such a wise takeaway,
yeah.
Lawrence. About
Four,
like
four,
like
four,
uh,
4 times round trip, right? So that's what you get.
you have to be wise, right?
Yeah,
After
true.
taking
Yeah.
4 roller
Yeah,
coasters, you have to be wise.
Yeah.
What
yeah,
about
yeah.
you, Andy? What's your takeaway?
I think to be very practical, I think if you first, I think you need to know your risk, your risk, what do you say, appetite. If you're like super conservative, and then you should put something on Bitcoin only. Probably not all your net worth, but I think at least 40-50% in Bitcoin, like your asset. And if you're like a medium, like a bit risky, I think you should put more. But and then conservative means you don't put anything into like meme coins or whatever because it's gonna be too volatile for you. But if you're like into like a bit risky and then you can put like around 70 to 90% in Bitcoin, and then the other go to alt is probably like you make 100x or something, and then it's probably gonna be doubling your whole portfolio. But you can just lose everything, so it's gonna like limit your loss. And yeah, I think I agree with Lawrence that the top signal is when you go out, you go into taxi, and then the taxi driver talking about crypto, you go to the traditional market and the sellers talking about crypto. That's gonna be the top signal. And then I personally never sell my Bitcoin, but if you like kind of know that you're kind of have the sense that you're on the top signal, then you're probably gonna offload all your other alt position and then move back some or most of them into like stable coins. That's my practical takeaway.
Sure. Well, my personal takeaway for 2024 is that first of all, the industry is here to stay. So
Yep.
after being through 2023, all looking so bleak and all like having despair moments and bouncing back up so hard, even with all the new memes getting up. So I guess there's a special niche for the altcoins in for the consumers, for the users. I guess it's not just about serious coins like bitcoins, but I think every coin has their own cult, has their own customers, has a fit for a group of people. So I think that's my biggest takeaway. And I think from my own personal experience, which is far more different than Jonathan's, I find this cycle to be kind of really hard to kind of get the winners because I keep getting on. If I get the winners, I get round trip back. And for every winners I choose, there's at least 10 losers that I also choose. So I keep getting wrecked in all those meme coins. Like, but for the winners, I get round trip back, which makes me pissed off sometimes. But but I think that's just the game. I need to upgrade myself. I need to have add some personal learning sessions with Jonathan. I guess private class to get my skills of choosing the winners like up. Hopefully, I can do that. Yeah. So, guys, I think we'll wrap this up. Thanks for attending the second episode of Localized. Lawrence and Jonathan, you guys will always remain special to Localized because you're the first guest in our podcast. Hopefully, soon, many more to come. Um, uh, would love to have you back on future episodes and have a great 2025. Bye, guys.
Thank you. What an honor.